As a yoga teacher, I've taught hundreds of students, from the beginners to the more advanced, and I've noticed the things that can really help beginners transform their practice. So in this video, I'm going to explain the 3 key principles that will help you flow with ease in your next yoga practice. So hi everyone, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexia and I've been a yoga teacher for about 8 years now, and in this channel I share yoga practices, tips and tutorials in order to help you with your practice. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, feel free to subscribe. So in this video, I thought I'd break down the 3-step framework that can really help transform your practice, in my humble opinion. And so it's basically 3 stages. We go from stage 1 to stage 2 to then stage 3. So stage 1 is all about removing the ego and practicing what we physically can practice in a given moment. In stage 2 then, it's all about removing any distractions and really being present with what we're doing. And then in stage 3, which is my favorite, it's all about counting the breath and flowing with the breath. So stage 1 is all about understanding what we physically can do. Now this is something I notice a lot, especially when a beginner comes into a class where maybe there's a mix of students with some, a bit more advanced. And what is quite normal is the beginner will look around and will try to practice according to what they can see. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of an exaggeration. I like to mimic things and then exaggerate them just to get my point across. So here's what we're going to do. Say you've got your more advanced practitioner who very easily can find a plank and very smoothly can lower down and smoothly can open up and then very smoothly can come into downward facing dog. And that's great. The problem here is that what I see lots of beginners doing is they'll exhale, inhale, exhale. And because they're trying to find flow with the practice. And not that there's anything wrong with this really, but the only thing is that this way we're not really building the strength, we're not really building the flexibility, and we're not really flowing in our practice. So if, for example, this is what I always advise students, if plank is too much for you, that's fine. You can just lower your knees down. If lowering down is too much for you and opening up into upward facing dog is too much for you, then that's fine. You can still lower your knees. Flow down. Maybe upward facing dog is too much. Inhale into a lovely cobra. Exhale slowly into a downward facing dog. So we can still practice, we can still move through our practice gradually and steadily, even if we're modifying things. So for example, you can make use of props if, let's say, certain poses are a bit too hard for you. Maybe we're in this pose here and it's too hard to bring my hand down. That's fine, you use your yoga block. It's important to understand how we can modify the practice around our physical abilities in order to really help us practice in a safe manner. Okay, stage 2. Now stage 2 is a bit more internal. It's all about trying to be present in the moment. Now, this is easier said than done. So what we ideally want is to try to bring our attention to exactly what we're doing in this very given moment. And that can really help us understand and listen to our body and listen to what we can do, and it can help us really stay grounded and focused. So rather than looking around and seeing what everyone's doing, okay, as a beginner, this is totally normal, but even if any little distraction here and there is getting your attention, just whether you're by yourself in a class with 100 people, just try to be present and focused on you. Okay, so stage 3 is my favorite. I love practicing this way, especially when I know that my mind is a bit distracted and I'm trying to really help bring my attention to the present moment. So I'm going to use the sun salutation as an example, and then again I'm going to show a more exaggerated version of what tends to happen, and then I'm going to show how by counting your breath you can really transform your practice regardless of your level. Now this is from total beginners to more advanced students. This can really help you flow with ease. Okay, so I'm going to show you a variation of a sun salutation, which is what I commonly see, especially when we're kind of out of sync with the movement and the breath. So here's what we normally do, or here's what I commonly see. So inhale, arms come up, we do this nice and gracefully. Exhale, we like to swan dive and lower down. And then inhale, we shoot out. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, we push up. Exhale, we find our downward facing dog, whatever version that we're working on. Now, instead, let's try counting the breath and let's see if that makes any difference. So instead, and I'm going to show a nice simple beginner's version here. So we're going to count the breath to 3. Each inhale will count to 3. Each exhale we will count to 3. And think that the duration of the breath is the same as the duration of the movement. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. And this can be applied to anything. This can be applied to if you're doing a bit more funky stuff, like for example, inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. And so by bringing these 3 basic principles together, 1, listening to your body and doing what you physically can do, 2, being present in the present moment, and 3, counting your breath to really help you find a steady pace. These 3 things I've seen can really help transform your practice, and it'll help you flow with ease in your next yoga practice. So if you're looking for a practice with minimal cues that you can really practice these concepts on, then here's a little practice for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.